Have you ever noticed your heart beating faster than usual after doing something small, like walking to the mailbox, bending to tie your shoes, or just getting up from your chair? You pause, take a deep breath, and tell yourself, it's nothing. I'm just getting older. But what if it's not just age? What if those little moments, that shortness of breath, that flutter in your chest, that strange tiredness that wasn't there before, are your heart's quiet way of asking for help? You see, the heart rarely shouts for attention. It whispers. And for many seniors, those whispers are so faint, so subtle, that they blend into the rhythm of everyday life. You chalk it up to the weather, to stress, to a bad night's sleep, and before you know it, what started as a whisper turns into something far more serious. I want you to take a moment and think about this. When was the last time you felt completely at ease with your own heartbeat? When was the last time you climbed a few stairs without feeling like you needed to rest halfway? When was the last time you told yourself, I just need to push through this tiredness, instead of asking why you felt so drained in the first place? These little signs, these quiet hints your body gives you, are not just coincidences. They are messages. Messages that could mean the difference between years of strength and independence, or a sudden decline that no one saw coming. Because the truth is, heart failure doesn't begin with a dramatic collapse. It often starts with tiny changes, a skipped breath here, a bit of swelling there, a night where you just can't lie flat without feeling uneasy. Things so ordinary that most people never question them. But here's where the power lies: you can. You can notice. You can listen. You can understand what your body is really saying before it's too late. And that's exactly what we're going to uncover together in this video. By the end, you'll know the 10 early warning signs of heart failure that seniors should never ignore, signs that often hide in plain sight, waiting for someone wise enough to pay attention. So, if you're ready to take charge of your heart health and truly understand what your body's been trying to tell you, this is your moment to start. Comment, I'm here, below, because by being here, you've already taken the first step toward a healthier, stronger you. And before we dive in, make sure you subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Guide, where we help seniors like you live longer, stay informed, and age with confidence, peace, and purpose. Let's start with the first and perhaps most overlooked sign. Shortness of breath during simple, everyday activities. Picture this: Harold, a 72-year-old retiree, who used to enjoy his quiet morning walks down the street. The air was crisp, the sun gentle, and the rhythm of his steps steady. But lately, things have changed. Now, he stops halfway, resting his hands on his knees, telling himself it's the summer heat, or maybe that he's just not as fit as he used to be. But deep down, he knows something feels different. His chest feels heavier, his breaths come quicker, and sometimes, even speaking while walking leaves him winded. That kind of breathlessness isn't just a matter of aging. When your heart begins to weaken, it struggles to pump blood as efficiently as it once did. And when that happens, fluid starts to back up into the lungs. That's why even simple tasks, climbing the stairs, making the bed, or walking to the kitchen, can leave you gasping for air. You may notice you're sleeping with more pillows, or that you wake up at night feeling the need to sit up just to catch your breath. Many seniors mistake this for being out of shape. They think, I just need more exercise, or it's because I haven't been moving much. But heart-related breathlessness doesn't come from laziness. It comes from the heart struggling to keep up with the body's needs. Here's something worth remembering. When breathlessness sneaks into your daily life, and it's not linked to obvious effort, that's your body waving a quiet red flag. Pay attention to when it happens. Does it come with light chores? After meals? Or maybe even while resting? These little details matter, because they help your doctor understand what your heart might be trying to say. So, don't brush it off. Don't wait for it to get worse. If your breathing feels heavier than it used to, it's time to listen. Your body never speaks without a reason. Sign number 2, swelling in the ankles, feet, or legs. Imagine Margaret. She's always taken pride in her neat appearance, tidy hair, pressed slacks, and her favorite pair of comfortable shoes. But lately, by evening, those same shoes feel tighter. Her socks leave deep marks on her ankles. She shrugs it off, telling herself it's just because she's been on her feet all day. But what Margaret doesn't realize is that this swelling, known as edema, can be one of the heart's earliest distress signals. When the heart isn't pumping blood effectively, that blood begins to pool, especially in the lower parts of the body. Over time, that pressure causes fluid to leak into the surrounding tissues, showing up as swelling around the ankles, feet, or even the legs. It's easy to assume it's nothing serious. Many seniors think, "I just stood too long," or "I must have eaten too much salt today." And yes, sometimes that's true. But when the swelling keeps coming back, day after day, week after week, it may be your heart struggling to keep up with circulation demands. If you notice this kind of swelling, there are gentle things you can do. When you sit, try to elevate your legs for a while. Cut back a little on salt, it helps reduce fluid retention. And most importantly, mention it to your healthcare provider. Even if it seems mild, it's worth checking. Because what feels like a small inconvenience today could be the body's way of asking for attention before things get serious. Remember, your body is always communicating, it's just that, over time, we stop listening as closely as we used to. But learning to notice these little patterns, the swelling, the breathlessness, the tiny shifts that feel off, that's how you stay ahead of problems that so many people miss. Sign number 3, trouble sleeping flat. Imagine this, it's bedtime, the room is quiet, and you finally lie down, hoping for a good night's rest. But as soon as your head hits the pillow, something feels off. You take a deep breath, but it doesn't feel deep enough. There's a strange pressure in your chest, a feeling like your lungs just can't fill all the way. You sit up, and suddenly, it's easier to breathe again. So, you reach for an extra pillow, and then another. At first, you tell yourself it's nothing serious, maybe it's a bit of indigestion, or the air in the room feels stuffy. But night after night, the pattern continues. The moment you lie flat, that uneasy feeling returns. You might not realize it, but this is one of the heart's earliest and quietest ways of saying, "I'm struggling." Here's what's really happening. When you lie down, fluid from the lower parts of your body, your legs, feet, and abdomen, moves upward toward your chest and lungs. In a healthy heart, that shift doesn't cause much trouble. But when the heart is weaker, it can't handle that sudden extra pressure. The result? Fluid begins to gather around the lungs, making it harder to breathe while lying flat. So many seniors mistake this for a lung problem, or even just another sleepless night that comes with age. They sit up, grab another pillow, and think they've found a solution. But it's not just about comfort, it's about what your body is trying to say. If you find yourself needing 2 or 3 pillows to sleep, or if you wake up in the middle of the night gasping for air, that's not normal aging. That's a signal. Yes, stacking pillows may help you breathe easier for now, but it's not a fix. It's your heart asking for attention, and it deserves to be heard. Don't ignore those restless nights or that nagging breathlessness when lying flat. They're quiet alarms from your body, reminding you that something deeper might need care. And sometimes, the body reveals heart distress through something even subtler. Sign number 4, persistent fatigue and weakness. You know that feeling when you wake up tired, even after a full night's sleep? Or when simple things that once felt effortless suddenly take all your energy? That's what James has been experiencing. James is 75, and gardening has always been his peace. He loves the smell of fresh soil, the way flowers bloom under his care. But lately, even watering his plants leaves him feeling drained. He takes more breaks, tells himself he's just getting older, but the truth is, something deeper is going on. When the heart weakens, it can't pump enough oxygen-rich blood to your muscles and organs. And without that steady flow of energy, the whole body starts to slow down. Everyday activities, like dressing, cooking, or walking across the living room, begin to feel like uphill climbs. Fatigue is one of the most misunderstood signs of heart trouble because it doesn't hit all at once. It creeps in slowly. One day you're skipping your usual walk, the next you're too tired to cook dinner, and before long, exhaustion becomes part of your routine. Most people just call it getting older. But aging alone doesn't steal your energy so suddenly, a struggling heart often does. If you find that your stamina isn't what it used to be, don't just push through it. Pay attention to your energy patterns. Are you more tired than you were a few months ago? Do you need to rest more often for the same amount of effort? These are important clues. Because fatigue that lingers, the kind that no amount of sleep seems to fix, isn't just weariness. It's your body running on low oxygen, asking for support. So, take a moment to listen. Don't dismiss your tiredness as normal. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. It's your body asking for balance. And while fatigue often hides in plain sight, there's another sign that many families mistake for something completely different. It shows up in quiet moments, in misplaced items, or forgotten words. Sign number 5, confusion or sudden memory lapses. Helen's story might sound familiar. She's 78, a loving grandmother who's always been sharp as a tack. She never missed a birthday, always remembered every grandchild's favorite snack, and could recall family stories from 50 years ago. But lately, things have been different. She's been misplacing her keys, forgetting names she's known for years, and sometimes, she pauses mid-sentence, trying to remember what she was about to say. Her family worries, is it dementia? But here's the surprising truth, not all memory lapses come from the mind itself. Sometimes, they come from the heart. When your heart weakens, it can't pump enough oxygen-rich blood to every part of the body, including the brain. And when the brain doesn't get enough oxygen, even for short periods, it struggles to stay clear and alert. That's when confusion slips in. You might feel foggy, disoriented, or forget simple things that once came easily. It's easy to brush these moments off as senior moments. We all forget things now and then, right? But when confusion becomes frequent, when you find yourself staring at familiar places and feeling lost, or when your thoughts seem harder to organize, that's not just aging. That's your body saying, something isn't right. And here's what's important, if that confusion appears suddenly. If it comes on out of nowhere, that could be a sign of something more urgent, like reduced blood flow or a sudden change in your heart's rhythm. That's when it's time to act quickly. Get checked. Don't wait. Because it's not just about the mind, it's about the connection between your heart and your brain, two organs that depend on each other every single moment. So, if you've noticed more mental fog than usual, or if your loved one seems forgetful in ways that feel out of character, listen carefully. It might not be a sign of fading memory, it might be a heart crying out for help. But confusion isn't the only quiet signal that something deeper is happening inside. Sign number 6, loss of appetite or nausea. Ellen was never a picky eater. She enjoyed her meals, loved sharing Sunday dinners with her family, and found comfort in a warm bowl of soup on quiet evenings. But recently, something changed. Food doesn't taste the same. She says she's just not hungry anymore. Sometimes she takes a few bites, then pushes her plate away. Her daughter worries, thinking it's just part of aging or maybe a side effect of her medications. But loss of appetite, especially when it comes on gradually and stays, can be another warning sign that the heart is under stress. Here's why. When the heart begins to weaken, fluid doesn't just build up in the lungs, it can also gather around the stomach and liver. That extra fluid can cause a feeling of fullness, bloating, or even mild nausea, making food less appealing. Over time, this discomfort leads to smaller meals or skipped meals altogether. Many families don't recognize it for what it is. They think, she's just not hungry, or it must be the new pills. But when this loss of appetite lasts for days or weeks, it's worth a closer look. The body is incredibly wise, and when it stops craving food, it's often because it's trying to tell you something isn't right inside. If you or someone you care for has been eating less, start small. Offer gentle, nutrient-rich meals, maybe soups, soft vegetables, or smoothies. But don't stop there. Keep an eye on the pattern. Does the loss of appetite come with bloating? Nausea? Fatigue? Those clues can help uncover the bigger picture. Because ignoring this change doesn't just lead to weakness, it can quietly accelerate heart strain. And as the appetite fades, another strange pattern often appears, one that catches people completely off guard. Sign number 7, sudden weight gain. A few pounds overnight might not seem like much. Many seniors think, maybe I had a salty dinner, or perhaps it's just water weight. But for the aging heart, those few pounds can mean something far more serious. See, when the heart can't pump efficiently, the body starts holding on to fluid. That extra fluid builds up quietly, in the legs, the abdomen, even around the lungs. And it shows up on the scale before you even feel it. So when the numbers rise suddenly, it's rarely fat, it's fluid. And that fluid is your body's way of waving a red flag. Imagine stepping on the scale and noticing you've gained 3 pounds since yesterday. It's easy to shrug off. But that rapid change means your heart might be struggling to keep up with circulation. It's like the pump is weakening, and the water it's supposed to move is backing up. That's why it's so important for seniors, especially those with a history of heart issues, to weigh themselves regularly. If you notice a gain of more than 2 pounds overnight, or 5 pounds in a single week, don't ignore it. It's not vanity. It's vigilance. Because sometimes, the most life-saving warnings come not from pain, but from a number quietly changing on your bathroom scale. And speaking of subtle warnings, the next one often whispers before it ever shouts. Sign number 8, persistent cough or wheezing. Mary thought it was just another winter cold. A little cough here and there, a raspy voice, maybe a tickle in the throat. She drank tea, tried honey, even used cough syrup, but nothing helped. Weeks passed. Then months. The cough was still there. When she finally saw her doctor, the truth surprised her, it wasn't a cold. It was her heart. When the heart weakens, fluid can start seeping into the lungs. That fluid irritates the airways, triggering a chronic cough or a wheezing sound, especially when lying down. Some people even notice a pinkish or frothy mucus, a clear signal of fluid mixing with air in the lungs. Many dismiss it, thinking, it's just allergies, or it's the weather. But that lingering cough could be your body's quiet cry for oxygen, a sign your lungs are under pressure from the heart struggle. If you find yourself coughing more when you lie flat, or if breathing feels tight and wheezy at night, don't ignore it. Sit upright, take note of your symptoms, and talk to your doctor right away. Because the heart and lungs work hand in hand, and when one starts to falter, the other soon follows. But sometimes, before your lungs speak up, your skin does. Sign number 9, pale or bluish skin. It started subtly for Robert. His wife noticed it first. His lips looked a little pale, his fingertips slightly blue, and his face had lost that healthy glow. At first, they thought it was just the lighting. But day after day, it didn't fade. This quiet change can reveal a lot. When the heart isn't pumping strong enough, the blood that reaches your skin carries less oxygen. That's why the lips, fingertips, and even the nose can take on a bluish or grayish tint. It's not just a color shift, it's your body's way of showing that oxygen isn't getting where it needs to go. You might also notice your hands or feet feeling colder than usual, even in warm weather. The body prioritizes vital organs like the brain and heart when circulation slows, leaving the skin with less warmth and color. If you ever notice this in yourself or a loved one, don't brush it off. Especially if it comes with fatigue, dizziness, or breathlessness. Those are clues that the heart's oxygen delivery system is struggling, and time matters. Because sometimes, your body doesn't scream. It whispers, in color changes, in temperature shifts, in signs that are easy to overlook. And now, we reach the final, and most urgent, signal your heart might send before things turn critical. It's one that demands attention the moment it appears. Chest discomfort or pressure. It's not always the dramatic, clutch your chest pain you see in movies. Sometimes, it's far more subtle, a dull ache in the chest, a heaviness that creeps into your shoulders, your jaw, or your left arm. Many seniors describe it as a squeezing sensation, or a tightness that comes and goes. Some feel it only when climbing stairs, others when sitting quietly. But whatever form it takes, it's never something to dismiss. That pressure often happens when the heart is struggling to get enough oxygen. The arteries may be narrowed, or the muscle itself overworked. It's your heart's distress signal, one that should never, ever be ignored. Some try to reason it away. It's just indigestion. I must have slept funny. But heart discomfort doesn't wait politely for convenience. It's the body's emergency alarm, and every second counts. If you feel that tightness, heaviness, or pain, even mildly, stop what you're doing. Sit down. Stay calm. And seek help immediately. Whether it lasts a few seconds or several minutes, whether it feels sharp or dull, it's always worth checking. Because early action can mean the difference between recovery and tragedy. Your heart speaks in many ways, through breath, through weight, through skin, through fatigue. But when it speaks through pain, that's the moment to listen with everything you have. There comes a moment, quiet, still, and almost sacred, when you realize just how much your body has carried you through. Every laugh, every hug, every sunrise you've witnessed, your heart has been there, beating faithfully, through it all. But watching your own body change, or seeing someone you love grow weaker, can be frightening. It's not just about the numbers or the symptoms. It's about the uncertainty, the worry of what tomorrow might bring. You start to wonder, is this normal? Or is something wrong? And that fear, that whisper of doubt, can weigh heavily. Because for many, the thought of heart failure feels like the end of independence, the end of freedom. But here's the truth, awareness is not the end. It's the beginning. When you start to understand what your body is trying to tell you, you take back control. You replace fear with knowledge. You turn anxiety into action. So instead of fearing what might happen, let this knowledge empower you. Let it give you the courage to ask questions, to speak up at your next appointment, to pay attention to those small changes that so often get brushed aside. And if you're caring for someone, a parent, a spouse, a dear friend, let this awareness remind you that love isn't always about grand gestures. Sometimes, love is noticing when they breathe a little heavier. Sometimes, it's reminding them to rest. Sometimes, it's saying, let's get that checked, just to be safe. Because early attention can save a life, and not just any life, their life. If any of these signs sound familiar, the shortness of breath, the swelling, the cough, the fatigue, don't wait for it to get worse. Schedule a checkup. Make that call. Share this video with your loved ones, so they can watch out for you too. Remember, heart failure doesn't always mean the end. With early detection and care, many seniors go on to live long, fulfilling lives. Filled with laughter, family dinners, quiet mornings, and warm afternoons spent doing the things they love most. You can still travel. You can still garden. You can still hold your grandchildren and tell your stories. You can still live, truly live, when you choose to listen early and act wisely. So let this moment be your turning point, not of fear, but of strength. Because taking care of your heart is not about holding on to life. It's about making every beat count. Let's take a quick moment to recap what we've learned, the 10 quiet signs your heart might be trying to show you. Breathlessness during simple activities. Swelling in the ankles, feet, or legs. Trouble sleeping flat. Persistent fatigue and weakness. Moments of confusion or forgetfulness. Loss of appetite or nausea. Sudden weight gain. Chronic coughing or wheezing. Pale or bluish skin. And chest discomfort or pressure. Each one, on its own, may seem small. But together, they tell a powerful story, a story of a heart that's working harder than it should. So, pay attention to these whispers. Your body is wise. It always speaks before it breaks. You just have to listen. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these signs have you noticed in yourself or in someone you love? Share your story in the comments. You never know, your experience could be the reason someone else recognizes their own symptoms in time. And if this message touched you, if it made you pause, reflect, or realize something important, please, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Guide. Here, we talk about real issues seniors face every day, with compassion, truth, and hope. Every story we share, every lesson we tell, is meant to remind you that aging is not a loss, it's an awakening. Because wisdom grows with every heartbeat, every scar, and every breath we're blessed to take. So thank you, truly, for watching today. Take care of your heart. Cherish your days. And never forget. Life doesn't slow down because of age, it deepens. Until next time, stay strong, stay aware, and keep living with purpose and grace. I'll see you in the next video.